You might find yourself, just for a moment, reflecting on how everything that you do can naturally shift your awareness. So almost as if, in this very moment, you can begin to notice how often you move in and out of states of focus. Sometimes effortlessly, sometimes without even realizing it. For instance, have you ever found yourself completely absorbed in a task, whether reading, watching a movie, or even when you're doing something routine like driving? And in that moment, isn't it true? Everything else seems to fade away. Isn't it curious how your mind can tune out distractions, focusing so deeply on just what matters in that moment, as if your entire reality is shaped by your focus? Perhaps you've noticed, when you're really absorbed in something, time seems to bend, stretch, or even disappear. And isn't it fascinating to think about how easy it is to shift into that state of focus? Just like now, you might find your thoughts, they can drift towards a sense of deep curiosity about the mind and how it works. How you can so naturally shift your attention without even thinking about it. You see, we all have the ability to move in and out of trance states naturally. Trance doesn't need to be something mysterious or magical. It's simply a change in the way you focus your mind. The truth is, you've already been in trance many times, without even noticing. Have you ever been so caught up in a song you didn't even hear someone call your name? Or so involved in a good story, the world around you just faded away? It's as if in those moments you were perfectly tuned to the rhythm of your own mind, and everything else was set aside. What's fascinating is how those states, the ones where you feel absorbed, engaged, almost hypnotized, can be intentionally influenced. It's like having a hidden skill that you use all the time without even realizing its full potential. Just like how right now you're naturally following along with these words. You can choose to turn that focus inward, shaping your experience however you wish. Because you see, your mind, it's a natural trance machine. You might have heard people say, I could never be hypnotized. But haven't you already experienced hypnosis, in a sense, countless times? Think about the last time you were really focused on something. Your mind was almost like a filter, blocking out everything that wasn't important in that moment. It's just the way your mind works, naturally. Your attention narrows in on what matters, and the rest simply fades away in the background. It's easy to slip into that kind of focus, to allow yourself to sink deeply into that relaxed state, where you feel alert yet free, and maybe even more capable than usual. When you're in this state, time expands. Possibilities seem endless. And you can take in information so easily, so effortlessly, because your mind, in that moment, is more open to suggestions, more flexible, more adaptable than usual. It's almost like you're in a space where learning becomes automatic, where your understanding deepens and expands with every word. You've probably heard people describe a grifter, someone who seems to have a way with others, who can influence and persuade with such ease. The thing about the grifter is, the true master of influence. They understand the power of these natural trance states. They know how to tap into the subtle art of focus, shifting your attention in such a way that you're drawn into their world without even realizing it. And here's the thing, you too can develop this ability effortlessly. Imagine just for a moment how easy it could be to shape your own perceptions, to create a state where your mind opens up like a book, where everything you hear is more vivid, more real, more connected to your deep inner beliefs. You might find that in this space you're naturally more receptive to new ways of thinking, to new beliefs, ones that empower you, that shift how you interact with the world. And isn't it fascinating that this process, this skill, it's available to everyone, yes, even you. Now you might be wondering about this process, the subtle techniques that help someone enter and stay in a trance. Well, it starts with simple awareness of how easily you can shift your focus, just as you've been doing already. You see, every time you tune in more deeply, every time you become more absorbed in a task or a thought, You're already engaging in trance. So it's not about doing something new. It's simply about understanding. You have the power to direct your attention, to move it where you want, and to stay there for as long as you wish. You don't need to try to enter a trance. Your mind is constantly moving between different states of focus. The key is realizing how you can choose to deepen those states when it serves you, making your experience richer, more vivid, and more fulfilling. It's as simple as noticing the subtle changes in your breathing, the way your muscles relax, the way your mind starts to feel lighter, freer. You might even notice how, as you allow yourself to sink deeper into this state, your sense of certainty increases, your clarity sharpens, and your ability to understand expands. There's a natural flow to these states, a process that happens almost without effort. Like when you first wake up in the morning, your mind drifts between dream and reality. It's like a bridge between what is known and what's possible. You can begin to notice how, in each trance, you can gain insights, understanding patterns, and move towards what you truly want with ease. And the more you practice, the more fluent you become in this dance of focus and relaxation. It becomes automatic, effortless, just like breathing. And as you begin to feel more confident in your ability to influence your own mind, you might notice something interesting happening. Your sense of self, your identity, starts to shift. You no longer feel bound by the same beliefs that once held you back. Instead, you realize you have the power to change those beliefs, to make new choices. It's like stepping into a new world, one where you're fully in control of your own perceptions, your own experiences. And isn't it amazing? This power has always been with you. That the ability to influence your own mind, to shift your focus, to shape your reality, was never something distant or out of reach, but something you've been using all along. Now in this very moment, you might feel your awareness is opening, shifting, becoming more flexible, more creative. And with each breath, with each word you hear, it's like you're strengthening your ability to move easily from one state of mind to another, faster, more naturally, and more effortlessly than ever before. Because after all, everything you do is a trance state. And once you realize this, you begin to see how in every moment you are the one shaping your experience. And with that knowledge, you become the master of your own mind. Through this experience, you might find your perceptions are already shifting, perhaps without even being fully aware of it. And that's the beauty of this process, how subtle yet powerful it can be when you open your mind to the natural rhythms of trance.